about 3 days later, I saw one. So we can.
Good afternoon. I call to order the Knox County Optional Review Meeting for Monday, September 15th. Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll, please.
Commissioner Ross.
Present.
Commissioner Darrett.
Here.
Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Russell.
Here.
Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Fox. Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
8 members present.
Thank you. As a reminder, this is not a voting meeting, it's discussion only. What we will do is we will start with our interviews for the library board, for BZA, and for the Sheriff's Merits Council. And then we can go through what the agenda, if anybody has anything for next week, but I hate to make everybody wait. So the first person we have is Miss Julie Thompson. Ms. Thompson, if you'll come to the microphone and hit the little people button, and then we'll be able to hear you, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in the library board, and we'll go from there.
All right, I'm Julie Thompson. I am recently retired from Knox County Schools after serving 30 years as an educator and principal, and actually went back to school to be a librarian, but along the way, things didn't quite work out that. It worked out better, but I've always been very interested in reading. I'm an avid reader, member of the library. I've worked with Mary Palm Claiborne on a couple projects with the Knox County Schools, and so I'm not terribly familiar with what the library board does, but I'm willing to serve. So,
thank you, and we certainly appreciate your willingness to serve. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Ms. Thompson?
I do, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you have any position on the types of materials that should be available to minors, particularly minors younger than middle school age?
well, I don't have a particular position. I feel like our public libraries should be available to house and offer all sorts of different opinions and ideas and materials for our public to check out, and it would be up to parents that would use that public library to help their children distinguish what they should or should not check out. That's up to them.
What about sexually explicit materials? Do you think those should be available to minors?
Again, I think it's a public library, and we want to have that. That would be something that parents should be able to monitor.
Do you think? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean. Do you think that that county or local governing bodies should be able to impose community standards of what might be acceptable to minors in such a way that it might override parents' decisions?
That's a great question. I've not encountered anything like that. I would certainly read and do what I needed to do in my background to help make that decision. But
Do you think that local governing bodies ought to take any role whatsoever in establishing what the community standards are with respect to pornography or explicit sexual material?
I personally would not think that would be appropriate, but I'm not, again, I've not served in the public library system, so I'm not exactly sure what their practices and standards are.
Okay, well, then let me clarify, because I don't want you to accidentally say something that didn't make sense. So are you saying you don't think it's appropriate that local governing bodies should establish what the community standards are, or you don't think that it's appropriate for minors to have access to materials that may be outside of what the community standards are with respect to materials that shouldn't be available to children.
Well, I'm not sure if this answers your question or not, but I don't believe children should have access to pornographic materials.
Okay. And do you think then that local governing bodies ought to be the ones to establish where that threshold is? To establish the community standards?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Hill?
Thank you. Hi, Julie. Just to get it on the table so no one is short-sighted, would you care to disclose your relationship with one of our commissioners?
Yes, I am Adam Thompson's mother.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that you applied, and I have no problem vouching for her. I've known her through the years with Knox County Schools and know that she'd be a wonderful asset.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Commissioner Thompson? Battery in?
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go.
There we go. Okay. Apologize for being late. But anyway, no, so with the library board, obviously this position had been open for a while. It'd been advertised for 3 months. And so without having a candidate, sorry, I ran over here. So I reached out to my mother, who had been the executive director of elementary education in Knox County. I said, surely she knows somebody. And so I just opened up the question. I asked her, do you know of anybody that would be willing to serve on this board? It's been open for 2 months, been advertised. I can't find anybody. Her initial response was, well, I'd like to serve. Being retired and having the time to do so, I said, well, let me check and make sure that's okay. So my first call was to Director Moyers to clarify, is that okay? Is that above board? Because I don't, having, the last couple of months talked about ethics and accountability and oversight. I didn't want to do anything that gave the appearance of not being kosher. So after discussing with him, obviously there's no authority. The mayor's office has basically delegated the authority of that board to the administration in the library system. So there's no money involved. They're advisory only to the mayor's office. We really don't have any oversight of the library board as far as controlling what they do. It's advisory only. So at that point, there didn't appear to be any conflict of interest or nepotism. So I will leave it to this body to decide. But she was enthusiastic about the opportunity to serve on the library board. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
I just want to say you do not look old enough to be his mother.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right, seeing no other questions, we will have the vote next Monday at 5, Ms. Thompson. And again, we really appreciate you being willing to serve. Thank you. All right, we will go to Board of Zoning Appeals. Drew, I'm right about Mr. Rapace is not going to be here. Is that correct? John Elliott, I'm sorry. Okay. I heard that wrong. So we'll start with Mr. Jonathan Rapace.
If I may,
Yes.
just to speak to Mr. Elliott, he's my nominee, and he had to be out of town on business today. He has served for the last 2 years, and I wholeheartedly recommend him.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we will come back to Mr. Rapace Commissioner Durrett, do you know if,
I don't know if he's able to attend, but I can vouch for him. He has served as a previous term right before this, so this is him being reappointed if this commission so chooses to do so. But he has represented the district well and definitely done his homework between meetings. So I wholeheartedly recommend him for another term.
perfect, thank you. All right, so now we are down to Mr. Philip Graves. Oh, Ashley Williams. I apologize. I didn't have my glasses on. Mr. Williams, if you will give your name and county of residence, and then tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Ashley Williams. The address is 1700 Vander Ridge Lane, 37919. I am currently filling out Raleigh Levengood's term for the 4th District. I was appointed by Shane Jackson. And previously, Larson had appointed me to fill out the previous seat when that seat was vacated prematurely. For those that don't know me, I am a huge advocate of being active in the community, to the point that sometimes my wife wishes I wasn't. But now that our children are old enough and don't need us as much, I would love the opportunity to sit a full term if this board so chooses so.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Williams? Seeing none, we will have the vote on Monday at 5 o'clock in this room.
Enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you so much for being willing to serve. Now we'll go to Mr. Graves. Hello. There we go.
Thank you. Philip Graves, Knox County, 8th District. I'm a lifelong resident of the 8th District, grew up in the same land that my family's been on for the last 100 years. So deep ties in the community. I graduated from Gibbs High School and then the University of Tennessee with a degree in political science. If I'm not at work or at church, I'm working with my scouts. We're always doing something. Just got back from the Chickamauga battlefield late yesterday afternoon and have a meeting tonight. So that's actually kind of what drove me to this. To earn the rank of Eagle Scout, you have to earn 4 merit badges involving citizenship in the community, nation, world, and society. So we talk about it a lot from a theoretical standpoint, but I decided it was time to lead by example and get involved from a more practical avenue. So that's why I'm here tonight, to hopefully get involved in the planning and for Knox County for the next several years.
Great, that's awesome. Questions from commissioners for Mr. Graves? All right, seeing none, we'll be back. Oh, I thought somebody raised their hand. We'll be back here on Monday evening at 5 o'clock, and we appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good meeting. And last on the BZA list is Mr. Tommy Lakins.
Good afternoon. I hope many of you know me already. I have always been very active in the 8th District in our county. I'm Tommy Lakins, 7322 Ridgeview Road, Coreyton, Tennessee. I'm a lifelong resident of Knox County, a graduate from Fulton High School and the University of Tennessee. I have been, as I said earlier, involved with our community for the last 67 years, and that's how long I've been alive. I have recently retired. Want to continue to support and help with our county as we move forward. My family in Jefferson County, Hamilton County have been developers many years in the past before my father passed away about 8 years ago. That has led me to always understand a lot of the interest in zoning and the appeals process. I have reviewed all the specifics about the committee. I do understand its function. I have been attending all of the BZA meetings for the last 3 or 4 months. I've tried to keep myself abreast of what's going on currently with some situations with zoning and variances that have been approved and disapproved. I would distinctly ask for your support I would ask that you allow me to have that opportunity to continue to serve in their county as I'd like to assist with.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Lakins? All right, seeing none, same thing. We'll be back here Monday at 5, and we appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will now head into the Sheriff's Merit Council. The first person we have is J.B. Brennan. You are on and ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Good afternoon, esteemed commission. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk about myself today and my qualifications for the Knox County Merit Board. I am a 30-year law enforcement retired officer. I retired at the rank of lieutenant. In my 30-year career, I've had a varied career path, which was about 50% administrative, 50% operational. Operational side, the watch commander commanding the entire city, which that particular city was Riverside, California, very similar in size and population to the city of Knoxville. The other assignments that I've been involved in is internal affairs, full investigations, which included officer-involved shootings, criminal complaints that are crimes that our officers committed, and the grievance procedures. My other assignments have been as a chief adjutant. I've also have extensive training in the personnel and training side. I was in charge of all of the police officer standards and training qualifications and field training officer program to get the officers the best training they could before they went out into the field as a full-fledged officer. So there was a lot of oversight that I did. I was a policy writer, also a policy drafter for many of the policies for the police department to sort of modernize us to the new laws and statutes that were in this, not only in the city, but also in the state, the ordinances in the states. I do have a lot of volunteer activity. I am currently on the Membership Standards Committee for the Scouting America, and that is very similar to what the Merit Council would be, which is the standards by which they accept volunteers to stay in the program or not be in the program. Usually that involves maybe some criminal activity they did or they violated policies, and I'm on that board to decide their continued membership into the program. I'm also a current member of the Merit Board. I have a whopping 2 months experience on the Merit Board, and I haven't let any moss grow under my feet. During that time, I have familiarized myself with all of the county ordinances as it relates to the Merit Council, the actual policies and procedures, and I have met with the director or the Merit Board to kind of give an overview of the different things that are done and how they're done on the Merit Board. So I feel like I have a good understanding and would be ready and willing to step into a seat if you guys, if you give me the opportunity to do so.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for commissioners or from commissioners? Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you again for turning your resume in and coming back for this appointment. My first question, this is going to be for everybody, is why did you decide to apply for this position on the Merit System Board of Directors? And you have already answered that, so thank you for that. Number two, I know Commissioner Jay usually asks this question, will you be able to abide by all Merit System Board of Directors rules and regulations, including but not limited to not participating in any kind of political activities and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. And number three, will you be able to be an impartial addition to the board? Meaning you can, like, the board is there to represent the employees of the sheriff's office. And so we want to make sure that we are very transparent and are there for the right reasons and not to promote any kind of agenda. So I just want to make sure you would be able to be an impartial addition.
Yes, ma'am, and I recognize that it is a symbiotic relationship between the commission, the sheriff's department, and the merit board and how everything is done, and I recognize completely the role of which the merit board is responsible for, and I have no hesitation at all in being able to fulfill those duties.
Thank you. And then my last question, do you have any family members or have you had any family members who were associated with the sheriff's office or Merit System Board of Directors?
Yes, not with the sheriff's office. I don't have any family members before or after with the sheriff's or the Knox Police Department. But I did have my spouse was a previous member of the Merit Board. I think he served 2 or 3 years on the Merit Board.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, Ms. Brennan will be back here on Monday at 5 o'clock for the vote, and we appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. Michael Crichton.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Michael Crichton. I currently am the Vice Chair of the Board of Directors on the Merit Board. I am filling a vacancy on the board, and I am asking your consideration of putting me in for a full-time position or a full term. Since my time on the board, I have attended all the meetings, and I've sat on several promotional panels for the sheriff's employees. I'm a 30-year veteran of law enforcement in Southern California. I've held the ranks of officer, deputy, investigator, sergeant, and lieutenant. I have worked patrol, corrections, investigations, dispatch, and court services. I have the knowledge, experience, and the ability to continue performing the duties of a board member. In addition to my law enforcement experience, I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in education. Following my retirement, I was a teacher for 2nd through 7th graders in California and Wyoming. I have worked on election boards in California and Wyoming. I have a history of service to the communities in which I have lived in positions of responsibility, and I would like to continue to do so here as well. I am asking you for consideration of a full term on the board.
Thank you, Mr. Crichton. Commissioners? Commissioner Rawls?
Yeah, I'm going to ask this to everybody that comes up. Commissioner Durrett already asked my question, but obviously the bulk of you have significant resumes, impressive resumes. So the question is, Phyllis, what is your philosophical opinion of the Merit Board and why?
I believe the Merit Board is there to ensure the fairness of dealing with the employees. I think over the years, law enforcement is a very difficult profession. We are not only hard on each other, well, we're as hard on each other as we are sometimes having to deal with members of the public. And I think people forget that they're dealing with human beings that not only are deputies, sergeants, lieutenants, but they're dealing with husbands, fathers, wives, church members, and there's a lot more to being an officer than just going in for a 10-hour shift every day. And I think that we need some consideration for the human side behind the badge.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Crichton, for being here. So I will ask the same questions I asked Ms. Brennan. Will you abide by all Merit System Board of Directors rules and regulations, including but not limited to political participation? We are approaching a countywide election year, so just want to make sure, because that is part of our rules and regulations for the Merit Board, so want to make sure you're aware of those and plan to abide by all of them.
Yes, I am aware of them, and I will abide by them.
Thank you. Will you be an impartial addition to this board?
Yes.
And do you have any family members, or have you had any family members who work for the Sheriff's Office or associated with the Merit System Board of Directors?
No, I do not.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Crichton, next Monday, 5 o'clock in this room, and thank you for your willingness to serve for a full-time position.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Daniel Herrera.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I always have to lower the microphone. I'm probably your shortest applicant today. So, my name is Daniel Herrera. I'm an attorney here in Knoxville. I live in Hardin Valley. That's District 6. There's my two commissioners right there. And my office is on North Broadway, right here off. So that's my other commissioner right there. So. First, I want to thank you all for allowing me to submit my application. As I said, I'm an attorney. I've been a practicing attorney since April 22nd, 2020, which is great because I got licensed and I said, the whole world is my oyster. And then a month later, the state shuts down on me. So, I started from the bottom. You can only go up from there. I have not just been a solo practitioner. I have partners. I've had several employees work for me. And I think that's a valuable resource that I can bring here is that the Merit Council, right, is, as one of the commissioners said earlier, represents the employees of the Knox County Sheriff's Office. And I think it's important to have somebody who has dealt with employees in the past because you understand what disciplinary measures you have, how far you can go in disciplinary actions, and also how you can serve that and how you can better serve the Sheriff's Office to make sure they implement policies that not just work for them, but for everybody, and of course, for our citizens. I'm excited. If I'm so blessed to get this appointment, I can't wait to start. I think I have a tremendous amount of value to bring as an attorney, as a citizen, as someone who lives in this, as someone who does criminal defense work. I deal with the Sheriff's Office frequently. I know those deputies, and to understand that, to say that they have a hard job, I think is an understatement. I do believe that I could bring a serious value here, and I feel like I can help the citizens of Knox County, the Sheriff's Office, and their employees.
Thank you. All right, commissioners. Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Herrera, for submitting your resume. I understand the sacrifice being an attorney in your practice. Can you speak to, I know you said you deal with officers, would you be able to, because this Merit Council is for the officers, not so much the sheriff. Sure. So how would that interfere with your practice in criminal defense?
No, and I think not only the philosophy of it, but the ethics of it, right? Whether or not I dealt with an officer during a criminal case, it's going to be very different from if they receive a disciplinary report or action. And I think it's important to stay impartial, but I will say it does help speaking to these deputies because you understand what their internal process is and how they work, right? So it won't interfere. I do think it complements it, but I think it's also important to understand that it's going to be separated, and it has to be separated because I believe that's what the Merit Council calls for.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for submitting your resume.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Back to the philosophical question.
I'm sorry?
The philosophical question.
Why?
Do you remember? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm running because I want to serve my community. I've been heavily involved in our community ever since pretty much I moved here. So I think this is another way to give back. I think I can bring a set of skills, a set of impartiality to this. As an attorney, I am an advocate. I'm counsel. I'm somebody who represents people, and I feel that this specific role is exactly what, as attorneys, what we do every single day.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you. Same questions, Mr. Herrera. Will you abide by all merit system rules and regulations, including but not limited to political participation in any kind of election?
Yeah, and that's a very easy thing for me to say, and absolutely. I was the Republican Party chairman from 21 to 23, and I will never do that again, so.
Got it. Thank you. Will you be an impartial addition to the board?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And do you have any family members, or have you had any family members who have worked for the Sheriff's Office or Merit System Board of Directors?
I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Durrett actually stole the thunder of my question, but I think you answered it very well as far as being not involved politically in races and things like that. It's been a couple years, but I spoke to you a little bit, and but yeah, as far as the political, so you have no more political aspirations at this point, or races or things like that?
No, and I'll tell you where a lot of that has changed. February 7th, 2025, my wife gave birth to our daughter. So I would much rather spend a lot of time at home. I'll let y'all duke it out. Y'all fight where you want to fight. You can keep me out of that, all right?
Gotcha.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, it's funny how priorities will change and shift when things like that happen. So.
That's right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, seeing no other questions, Mr. Herrera, 5 o'clock Monday, we will do the vote, and I appreciate you being willing to serve.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, next is Steve McFall.
All right, my name is Steve McFall, and I spent more than 34 years as an FBI agent. The last part of my career from 1996 to present, I've lived here in Knoxville in West Knox County. And I spent time early in my career in the FBI laboratory in creating a new position or new unit in the FBI laboratory. Part of those responsibilities was creating brand new positions for the FBI, writing those position classification statements, interviewing and hiring people. So I've been down that process, and since being in Knoxville these last years, since 1996, I've been on probably 20 to 30 career boards where we've had to interview, rank, and select candidates for positions. So I feel like I have, an extensive background. I've worked in a number of different types of criminal activities, been involved with obviously task forces in the Sheriff's Department and the Knoxville Police Department and others throughout East Tennessee, and have a good understanding of the way all those departments function and work. And I believe I could bring some skills to this particular area.
Thank you. All right, commissioners. Commissioner Rawls?
I'll let Commissioner Durrett go before me, please.
Okay. Commissioner Durrett?
Am I asking your question?
You can.
Oh, well, I don't care. I will let you do it. Thank you, Mr. McFall, for applying for this position. As I've asked everyone else, I'll ask you the same questions. Will you abide by all Merit System Board of Directors rules and regulations, including but not limited to political participation in any kind of campaign?
I will abide by all those rules.
Perfect. My next one, will you be an impartial addition to the board of the
Yes,
Merit
I will.
System Board? Thank you. And do you have any family members, or have you had any family members who have worked for the Sheriff's Office or represented the Merit System Merit System Board of Directors?
No, I have not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
You touched on the philosophical piece, but as I read through your resume, there's something that really, it bothers me, just to be quite honest. Where were you educated at?
The University of Alabama, but I would like to say I'm actually currently teaching for the University of Tennessee.
It's the wrong university.
And my oldest child went to the University of Tennessee, so I've given money. That may still not erase all of it.
That
but
does not erase any of what you just said. As an Auburn Tiger,
oh goodness,
I am truly bothered, and I don't think you make smart decisions.
I understand. Well, I mean, it may look up for you because we may be on the way down.
Thank you, Commissioner Rawls. Mr. McFall, thank you for applying, and we will see you back here Monday at 5.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Next is Christopher Smith. All right. And Sarah Steele.
Hello. I'm Sarah Emily Steele. I go by Sarah Emily. I'll just say what is obvious here. I bring something a little different than everyone else. I'm just a smidge younger, if you can't tell, a little less gray, a little less wrinkly, perhaps. But as you can tell, that brings a little bit of a different perspective, and I think that would be needed on this merits board. I am a graduate of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. I graduated with a degree in criminal justice. I got the award for the Outstanding Criminal Justice Student of the Year. I did a thesis on exoneration, so I've done a lot of study about incarceration and the effects it has on people, and I've seen all the different levels of the criminal justice system. I went to law school here at the University of Tennessee, and I graduated, and I'm currently an attorney here. I practice with Daniel Herrera. We have a law firm here. It's called Herrera Still. I practice a couple different types of law, but my favorite is criminal defense. So with that, I have a multitude of clients that come from different backgrounds, but they all experience similar things with the criminal justice system. That being the first interaction that they have with the criminal justice system is with officers, and that can make a huge difference. And one thing that I want to do here is help our officers to be ethical. I want to make sure that all the interactions that people have here are positive and they're above board. I don't want Knoxville to be remembered as a headline of some officer doing something and that reflects negatively on us. I love this city, I love this county, I don't want that to be us. I want people to be treated as human beings. I want everyone to be able to have faith in the criminal justice system, and that's from start to finish. It's not just in the courtrooms. That's the difference that I'm able to try to make an impact on as a lawyer, but it needs to start with the officers, and I'd love to be able to help with that here.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Steele, thank you for putting your resume in, and you got my attention when you said you did criminal defense, because I practice in that. Are you familiar with the policies and procedures of the officers at the Sheriff's Department?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. And you'll be willing to review those and come up to speed on those?
100%.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Still, for applying for this position. We talked to this briefly before our meeting started, but why merit? Why this position? We have a lot of committees and things. Why this one?
This one has impacted me directly. I've had friends and family and clients, obviously, that have interacted with the criminal justice system. I've seen how this affects them. I've seen how this affects their family. And officers are clearly a big part of that. So I want everyone to be able to have a better experience, at least not a super harmful experience with the criminal justice system. Everyone just needs to be ethical. And if I can be a part in that, I'd love to help with that.
Thank you. Will you abide by all merit system, board of directors rules and regulations, including but not limited to any kind of political participation in campaigns?
I will.
Thank you. Number 3, will you be an impartial addition to the board?
I will.
And do you have any family members, or have you had any family members who have worked for the sheriff's office or associated with Merit System Board of Directors?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, Ms. Steele, thank you for applying, and we'll see you back here on Monday at 5.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I want to call Christopher Smith one more time. Okay. All right, so that concludes the interviews for the positions that we have. Commissioners? Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to every applicant. Your willingness to serve and to show up and engage in local government process is greatly appreciated. When I started looking through these resumes and I saw the number of individuals who wanted to be a part of local government processes, I really got excited. I will tell you, this will be difficult. Oftentimes, we are not in a situation where we have so many qualified and desirable candidates, but we do. And I just want to thank you. I really just wanted to express my thanks to each and every one of you.
Thank you. All right. Commissioners, do we have any items that, for the meeting next month, any items that we want to discuss? Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to quickly address agenda item number 24. Just for some clarification, Commissioners, you'll see that there's a resolution in addition to the ordinance regarding the Merit System Board because the ordinance makes the change in the Knox County Code. However, the eligibility requirements of Merit System Board members are also set out in the Merit System Board's rules and regulations, which is adopted and amended by resolution of this commission. So therefore, we needed a separate resolution to amend the rules and regulations so that it is consistent with the ordinance and Knox County Code. So I just wanted to share that. And then I'll wait for Madam Chair to acknowledge me for one more comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Durant?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure we're just open to the rest of the agenda. We're not going to, okay.
We are.
I want to call everyone's attention to 22 and 23. Those are the resolutions referencing any kind of utility permitting. Due to my employment with a telecommunications company, I will be recusing myself from that, and actually I won't be in attendance next week due to having to go out of town unexpectedly. And so just want to throw this out there that we Comcast and the utilities did not receive the language to these resolutions until this past Thursday and are working on some, I can vouch for at least Comcast that we're working on some language suggestions and would prefer it be postponed 30 days.
Okay, thank you.
There are 2 handouts on your desk to reference for some of these reasons.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also wanted to make a comment and also ask Director Snowden if he would come forward I'll start with agenda item number 22, followed by, I have a question for agenda item number 23. Agenda item 22 is the UDO request.
Yes, Commissioner. How's everybody?
Fine as frog here, Director Snowden. How are you? All right, so my question is this. Would this utility guidelines, and excuse me, you all, I'm kind of struggling with a head cold or something, be codified in the public right-of-way section of the UDO?
Correct, Commissioner. I'm sorry, I was having a hard time hearing. I know, I'm sorry.
I can repeat it if you would like. It's unclear to me. It's unclear to me as to whom would pay the fees or the fines, because it's my understanding from previous conversations and discussions that the joint use pole attachment agreements set out in these terms and the fees in accordance with the Federal Communications Commission. I'm unclear as to, according to those regulations, who would be paying the fees, and I just need some clarification, some help to better understand that. And then also, my first question was, if this was codified, would it be codified in the public right-of-way section of the UDO? It wouldn't have a separate section for utility guidelines. It would be included in the right-of-way section.
Correct. Thank you
Okay.
so much for repeating that. To take the second question first, you're right. The intent would be, like if you look at the city of Knoxville's roadway ordinance, they have a section in there that relates to permitting fees, or not permitting, well, permitting fees and permitting process. So yes, that would be the thought, that is part of the UDO, that ordinance is going to be updated. That's one of the things the consultant's working on. So if we wanted to, if this body wanted to add that, we could dovetail that in. That would be relatively easy to do. And then we would obviously, I've talked to a couple of consultants about doing that work, reaching out to utility owners, and kind of bringing them to the table to talk about what that may look like, and then ultimately bringing you all a recommendation. So yes, that's that part. The other part is, and this is a good question, because I was talking to Mr. Caldwell this morning about one of these items that Commissioner Jay has noted about the exemption of paying fees. We may need to look at that a little bit closer. The way it's worded in the current resolution talks about waiving fees per particular project, and the way we interpret pilots and payment in lieu of taxes, it's more of a franchising fee. So it doesn't feel like it would be per specific project. It may be more agency specific. So we may want to look at that a little bit. So maybe we could do that, as Commissioner Durrett phrased, maybe if it is postponed, we could take the next 30 days and look at that a little closer.
Okay, and that just also gives me some assurance, because while you were speaking, what I was kind of hearing is that Engineering and Public Works would like some time to kind of further examine the language and clarify the intent. And so thank you for clearing that up for me.
Yep, glad to.
Do I go ahead and speak on number 23? And really, agenda item number 23, my question is very simple. How would this benefit or help Engineering and Public Works, and how would it benefit the public?
Sure, glad to. And this is kind of codifying a procedure that we currently use now, but we don't really have the legislative authority to do it. If someone called our hand on it, obviously, and this particular resolution has kind of 4 different facets, but the one that I would liken it to is if we have a road project, and we do a lot of road projects, and we have a lot of utility relocations, if a utility project owner or utility owner is uncooperative, which they can be from time to time as far as relocating their facilities, everybody's drove through that road project and saw that one line hanging from that pole up there, and that's the only thing to prevent that road project being completed. We have in the past held their future permits, and that's been able to get that utility owner expedited to relocate that facility. And we've done that, but we've done it kind of on a veiled threat without this body's authority. So this would be a process in which we would be granted that authority to allow for, those folks to, hopefully encourage them to get those facilities out of the way sooner and avoid that inconvenience to the public. And there's some other things in here regarding double poles that we've talked about previously, as well as safety issues that we've identified. So, but be happy to talk any more about that. But that's one example I could use that I think the public would benefit from, is us having that authority.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm asking Mr. Moyers if you would please, between now and next week or next month, whenever we actually hear this, to be sure that this is all in line with the structuring of public utilities and the federal rules and regulations that go along with that. I know at one time we were talking about penalties, and I do see, if I'm reading it correctly, that has been removed. But just making sure that we actually do have the ability to withhold permits and this type of thing as we move forward. And Jim, that'll do nothing but cover all of us, just making sure that whatever's put in there is in compliance with the federal regulations.
Yes, ma'am. And to help Mr. Starkey in the Law Director's Office help us with this, and I asked him that question, do we have this authority? And his answer was, well, I can't find where we do, but I can't find where we don't. You know, it is our, obviously, this is our right-of-way. It's our right-of-way that we maintain. So that was the response. And certainly we want to be, as we go through this, we've built a lot of good relationships with these utilities. And, you know, I want to certainly maintain those and be fair and equitable about it. So we've tried to do that with this document.
Commissioner Durant?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Snowden, I know it's practice of some telecommunications to have franchise agreements with each LFA, with each government entity. Is it common practice for all telecommunications to have separate franchise agreements with each individual government entity?
Gosh, Commissioner Durrett, I'm not sure. I would assume so, but that's an assumption on my part. I don't know specifically.
Okay. I ask that because I know to speak to your to part 3 of item 23, that has the 4 parts to it, where you were discussing the project, the Knox County projects being held up because of typically a loan line that's just waiting to be moved. And typically in franchise agreements, those terms are laid out. That time frame is laid out. So that's why I asked about. Typically, it's 90 days. So that's why I asked if all of them have those, and that might be where the teeth can come in and the penalties can come in, and not necessarily fees, but withholding permits versus putting it in into the UDO, or excuse me, versus putting it however we do it. When we have those individual franchise agreements between Knox County government and whatever company, that's where we could put in penalties potentially to look at. And then, you know, to speak to the UDO one too, franchise agreements, that's between the county and the telecommunications company or whatever company it is. And those franchise agreements are agreements to operate in the public right-of-way, and in turn, that company pays fees. I can say that in 2024, Comcast paid Knox County $1.85 million in franchise fees. So to go around and have to charge for permit applications would actually violate our franchise agreement. And so that is, I'm trying to tread a line right now. So that's all I'm going to say, but there is a potential place for penalties to be included in franchise fees, but that is if and only if each attacher has that separate franchise agreement with the county. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. I have a whole page, but again, I'm treading a line that I'm trying not to cross.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is a little bit of 2 questions, because I did have a question for the maker of the resolution. So I've got a couple of questions out to the utility boards, because I want to see if 22 and 23 would impact fees in a way that would increase the cost of services at the tail end of this once it makes its way down the line. And I haven't gotten any clarity, haven't had those meetings yet. So how would we ask for a postponement for 30 days if the maker's not here? Or what do you advise?
Well, at this meeting, there really is no way, this is not a voting meeting. So you could, I guess, it'd be out of order. You could potentially bring it up tonight, although it'd be out of order. So the better thing to do would be to wait till Monday and make a motion that it be postponed for 30 days.
Okay, I can do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll put in for him.
Okay.
Also, okay.
Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for Mr. Law Director. In regards to what Commissioner Durrett said, could you address that? Because I know she was referring to Comcast. Is that correct in the legal analysis that she presented?
Well, if you look at the document that's been put in front of you, section 2.3, this is a portion of the franchise agreement with Comcast. It says that the franchising authority, that would be the county, shall not charge the company, and the company shall be required to pay any fee or charge for the issuance of permits, license, or other approvals, such as payments that are included in the franchise fee, as such payments are included in the franchise fee described in section 4 below. So at least with Comcast, we have some language in there that says that because they pay a franchise fee, we cannot require them to pay any other kind of fee. Is that the question you were asking?
Yes, it is my question. And is that not an agreement we have with all utilities, or is that just specific to Comcast?
It's, as I understand it, I really wasn't prepared for this, but as I understand it, we have a franchise agreement with every company that provides internet and/or cable television services in Knox County.
Is that going to be similar language or the same?
I don't know. I haven't looked at our franchise agreements in years. So I don't know if the same language is in there. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, because we probably, have generally the same kind of agreements with all of them. I can't imagine we would have, terribly different ones. There shouldn't be that many. Spectrum is in town, I think. We used to have Knology, but Knology's gone, I think. So
What about Frontier? Can you address
if
Frontier?
Frontier is providing internet or cable services in Knox County, then we probably have a franchise agreement for them.
Is that something that we could get before we vote on this to know? Because my question would be, if that is the language, then what options do we have?
Well, for this purpose, probably none. If we pass these resolutions, then it would certainly be a strong incentive to incorporate that language into any future franchise agreements. Or it could just be done that way. But these franchise agreements have a definite, life to them. I don't think we can renegotiate them unless the utility companies or the telecom companies are willing to renegotiate them. So it would have to wait until the franchise agreement were to run out before we could change the language if they didn't feel like they wanted to do that. So we would have to look at the language of each franchise agreement to see if that language is in there. But as I say, I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Okay. So would you be able to tell us what options we have?
Well, like I said, if we pass the resolution, but we currently have franchise agreements with all the telecoms that are doing business in Knox County that say that we cannot charge them fees above the franchise agreement, then the resolution really wouldn't have any impact. We could not do that without breaching our contract with these telecom companies. But as I say, if the language is not in the other ones, then we could certainly apply it to the other ones. And it certainly would be an incentive or a directive to the telecom committee or whoever negotiates these franchise agreements when they come up to include that language. But like I said, if, and I don't know, but if all of our franchise agreements have this language in them already, then these resolutions probably could not be utilized immediately.
That I can speak to my district, that Frontier is one of the chief offenders, and that's holding up a lot of projects, including the Diamond on Emory Road. So I would be interested in knowing.
Well, let me say this. We're talking about different things now. I was addressing the question of fees and the permitting process and things like that. This doesn't, well, let me see. This talks about not charging the company, but my understanding of 23 is it provides the authority to withhold permits if there's a problem. And that's different than charging a fee. So unless there's something either in the Telecommunications Act, the Federal Telecommunications Act, which if Charlie says there isn't, I'd take his word on that. And if there's nothing in the franchise agreement that would not allow us to withhold or hold back a permit, then I'd say that that is something we could do, okay? The language I'm looking at right now only speaks to charging an additional fee for a permit.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Just a question. Is what Commissioner Lee discussing covered in 1.4, right? Like we can't alter.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying before. This franchise agreement is basically a contract between, in this case, Comcast and Knox County. And like any contract, we can't just come in and unilaterally change the language. So let's see, this was effective in 2023. So under this, unless Comcast agreed to go back in and renegotiate the franchise agreement, we probably couldn't affect this until 2033, at least in terms of fees. But like I said, that's a different question than withholding a permit because Comcast hasn't followed our rules and regs. That's I don't know whether that's also covered in the franchise. I'm just looking at this that I have in front of me, and this would not affect that.
But to Commissioner Lee's point, isn't this the same for every utility?
I don't know. Without looking at all the franchise agreements, my gut would suggest to me yes, but without looking at them, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Thank you. Director Snowden and Commissioner Durrett, remind me of the agreement between all of the utilities that you guys have. There's an acronym and I can't remember.
Engines?
Yes, engine. So right now with, as Commissioner Lee said, Frontier holding up progress on that particular road. There is, I understand, with like LCUB, who's my main utility provider, that if there is an emergency, then they can go in and they can remove a situation. So what is kind of holding up whoever owns those poles in this situation, Commissioner Lee's situation, or it can be any of ours, but right now, currently in hers, what is stopping either the county or other utilities to be able to say, Company A, you've not responded, you know, what can we do? What I'm saying is, what can we do now before we have to do a resolution to something? Is there a help to that?
You know, and it's something I think it'd be interesting to hear the perspective from a lot of the pole, and really the pole owners in our community are LCUB and KUB. Right. AT&T owns some poles, Frontier owns some poles, but 95% of the poles in Knox County are owned by one of those two agencies. And to go on that pole, you have to sign an agreement with that pole owner. So I think the pole owner has the authority to do these things today. But I don't know, like I said, their agreements are separate, third party. I don't see those, but I know that they have that capability. So if like in KUB's instance, I'm assuming they're the power provider out there at the Diverging Diamond, they would have the ability to remove those lines, but I don't know the process in which KUB would have to give them to do so.
Right, okay.
If that makes sense. So I think we can get multiple ways to skin that cat, yes.
Okay. And I agree with Commissioner Rawls. I've reached out to LCUB also, who's my main provider. I have a few KUB, but very few. Most of them are LCUB. And we have not the same one that Commissioner Lee has a problem with. We have another one. So it's been my conversation with LCUB. So Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just going to add that Mr. Snowden's correct. We have pole attachment agreements with every utility or pole owner. Us as attachers would have that set forth. And in those pole agreements, you will find penalties that will be incurred if and the pole owner sets this. Like this is all, it's a long negotiation, and I'm in the middle of 3 of them right now in different counties with pole owners, but they set forth their parameters and their timeframes on when things need to be transferred or if there's a new pole erected and how that goes. And then they set the penalties in those pole attachment agreements. And it's different for each individual pole owner. Attachers could pay a fee for like at a certain percentage for one and it be 3% higher for a different one. And so it just depends, but it's negotiated out in those individual agreements with the utility pole owners and the attachers. And speaking to time frame, there's a diagram just so you can see what's utility, what's telecom. When we talk about time frame and like withholding permits because someone's not acting, and I get that it's not everybody, but it does, if there's one bad actor, let's say, I don't know if y'all remember this conversation, but there's an order of attachment. And so therein also is an order of transfer. And so if we've got the bad actor who's next to go to transfer to the new pole and the rest are waiting, do we also incur those penalties because we are not moving in the proper time frame? And so,
And
that's where
punishing
the water gets muddied. Let's say, because this resolution said 3 months, but up to 6. Let's say one has not moves on 5 months and 29 days, finally decides they're going to move on the last day of that 6 months. So then what about the rest of the attachers? Are they subject to that 1 day, or will they get an additional day? It's broad. Typically, and I know this is with the county, and to be able to have some kind of teeth in getting those bad actors to move, but when we have those pole agreements, when attachers have those pole attachment agreements with the individual utilities that own the poles, and it sets it out in those guidelines of what the penalties are, how quickly attachers need to move, and that sort of thing, this kind of muddies the waters. Like, would this, and this kind of, I guess, is a question for Mr. Moyers, can the language of these resolutions lawfully negate any kind of language that's included in pole attachment agreements between attachers and utilities?
No.
Okay.
It cannot. That would be a violation of the Constitution, actually.
Okay. Well, okay, so that answers that. So, I mean, like I said earlier, we would be able to potentially make some language changes, but ask for that postponement for several reasons, but that specifically because I know for a fact in a pole attachment agreement I'm very familiar with, the guidelines are set out on what happens if my organization does not move in a timely manner and what those penalties are.
Yeah, it does.
And they go to them.
Yeah, it gets very complicated. And then when you do have the people that are following the rules, there's a problem there. So.
And I can say, like I said, it's different between every attacher and utility.
Yeah. Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I just have two examples. One is right in front of my house. There was a pole that snapped 3 years ago. So the pole was replaced, but there's a hanging pole still hanging from the wire. KUB's looked at it, the county's looked at it, Comcast has looked at it, Frontier's looked at it. Everybody says it's Frontier's. It's still hanging there. They're not doing anything. And then we just had the state come out and speak, and Powell last week, who said Frontier has been holding up the project. So that's my two examples. Thank you.
Thank you.
And they're the only thing holding up the widening on West Emory for Belltown. So that's, I mean, they're a good partner. They work with us, but they are a smaller agency and a little bit slower to get things done.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any other items for the agenda? Commissioner Frazier.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to provide some information. I had reached out to Knox County Sheriff's Office about agenda item number 16, and they are always so gracious to get back to me and provide any information that I ask or help me clarify anything. And I just wanted to share that So this emergency vehicle operations course, this was approved in their capital improvement plan in fiscal year 2025. The total project cost is estimated at $3.5 million. And so the resolution that you see on the agenda is for the approval of a contract with Robert Campbell and Associates in the amount of $132,200 for design and engineering the new vehicle operations course. The contract includes the survey and design for a 1,200-foot entrance road, the driver training track approximately 3,300 feet, and a 5-acre driver skill practice area. Engineering services also will include site boundary and topographic survey, site grading and drainage, water, sewer, and electric design, and erosion control. They will put together the bid packages for Knox County purchasing, as well as assist in the evaluation of bids, acts as the owner's representative, and will monitor the construction and approval of all payment applications. So I just wanted to simply share that response that I got when I reached out to them.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 15 I saw was to be added. Are we just going to do a regular appointment process for that one, like we normally do for the audit committee appointment?
I assume, can we do it the regular way? Okay, Director Moyer, okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, well, seeing no other discussion, then we are adjourned and be back here at 5 o'clock. Thank you.